Above the moonlit clouds of wartime Europe, a single American pilot tore through the night sky, his heart pounding with a mixture of fear and determination, knowing that one mistake could mean instant death. The enemy had claimed countless lives in missions like this, and yet here he was, facing the impossible, flying into the very heart of danger where no man had dared to venture alone. This was not just a flight, not just a mission, it was a testament to courage, skill, and the unyielding spirit that defines the American airman. Every second brought the roar of enemy fighters and the explosive crack of anti-aircraft fire, yet Lieutenant James "Jim" McAllister pressed on, a lone figure in the night, determined to strike a blow that could change the course of history. The stakes were enormous, the odds insurmountable, and the very fate of nations hung in the balance. But in the face of overwhelming danger, McAllister embodied the pride, bravery, and ingenuity that had made the United States a force to be reckoned with in the skies. It was the spring of 1944, and the war had reached a critical point. The skies over Europe were filled with death, from the thundering engines of enemy fighters to the relentless barrage of anti-aircraft fire. Intelligence had pinpointed a heavily defended target deep within occupied territory, a key facility whose destruction could cripple the enemy's ability to fight. Many missions had already failed, their pilots either shot down or captured, their courage extinguished by the merciless combination of technology, strategy, and sheer luck. Yet when McAllister stepped into his P-51 Mustang, he carried with him not just a machine of war, but the hope and pride of his country. Every lever, every dial, every instrument would be tested, not in a training exercise, but in a reality where survival depended on skill, nerve, and the relentless determination to succeed. His comrades had warned him the odds were against him, and yet he understood that history favors the bold, and freedom demands sacrifice. As he climbed into the night sky, the wind tearing past his aircraft, the full weight of the mission hit him. The enemy airfields were bristling with fighters, and every mile forward was a mile closer to death. The P-51 roared like a living creature beneath him, its engine a powerful ally, yet fragile against the storm of war surrounding him. McAllister had trained for years, had faced countless drills, yet nothing could truly prepare a man for the reality of flying alone over hostile territory, with death waiting behind every cloud, every shadow, every glint of gunmetal from below. His mind was clear, his hand steady, and his heart, though racing, held a quiet resolve. He was not just a pilot, he was the embodiment of a nation's courage, an arrow of freedom shot into the dark heart of tyranny. Enemy fighters appeared as if from nowhere, swarming like deadly wasps, their engines screaming, their guns trained on him with lethal precision. McAllister's training took over, every maneuver calculated, every roll and dive executed with split-second timing. He zigzagged through tracer fire, dipped beneath clouds, and climbed above flak bursts that tore through the sky like thunderbolts. Each engagement tested him physically, mentally, and emotionally, but he pressed on, knowing that turning back was not an option. To fail meant death, not just for him, but for the mission, for the men on the ground relying on his courage, and for the countless lives that hung in the balance. In these moments, every American watching the skies would have felt the same mixture of awe, pride, and fear that coursed through his veins. Reaching the target, the full danger of the mission became clear. The facility was surrounded by anti-aircraft emplacements, their guns blazing with deadly accuracy, and yet McAllister held steady. He released his ordnance, watching as explosions erupted like the very wrath of the heavens, obliterating the enemy's defenses. For a brief moment, silence descended as smoke and fire filled the night sky, a victory paid for in sheer bravery and precision. But there was no time to celebrate. Enemy fighters regrouped, closing in from all directions, engines screaming, intent on revenge. McAllister's journey was far from over, and every mile of return flight would be another test of courage, skill, and luck. The return flight was a relentless gauntlet. Fuel was dangerously low, the aircraft damaged, and enemy fighters continued to harass him. Yet McAllister's resolve never wavered. Each maneuver was a dance with death, each dive a calculated risk, each evasive roll a testament to his mastery of flight. The Mustang responded as if alive, carrying him through bursts of gunfire and treacherous skies. Hours felt like minutes, every heartbeat amplified, every shadow a potential threat. And yet, with each passing moment, McAllister's bravery shone brighter, a symbol of the indomitable spirit that had made American pilots legendary throughout the war. Finally, crossing back into friendly airspace, McAllister allowed himself a brief moment of relief. The mission, once deemed impossible, had been completed. Lives had been saved, the enemy had been struck a crippling blow, and history had been made. But more than that, his courage had inspired all who heard of it, a reminder of what American ingenuity, skill, and bravery could achieve in the face of overwhelming odds. The P-51 Mustang, that machine of steel and courage, had carried not just a pilot, but the pride of a nation across skies filled with danger and into legend. When McAllister finally landed, exhausted yet triumphant, he was greeted not with fanfare alone, but with the quiet reverence due to those who have stared death in the face and returned victorious. Reports of his mission spread quickly, inspiring fellow pilots, soldiers on the ground, and citizens back home. It was a story that encapsulated the best of America: courage, determination, and the willingness to face the impossible for the sake of freedom. Every detail of his flight, every burst of gunfire evaded, every maneuver executed flawlessly, became a part of the proud tapestry of American aviation history. This mission was more than a single flight. It was a symbol that when courage meets skill and determination meets opportunity, the impossible can be achieved. For generations of Americans, the story of Lieutenant James McAllister serves as a shining example of what bravery looks like, of what it means to rise to the occasion when the world demands heroes. His flight was not just a mission. It was a testament to the American spirit, an enduring reminder that freedom is protected by those willing to risk everything to uphold it. So the next time you look up at the skies, remember the men who soared into danger with nothing but their courage, their skill, and an unbreakable resolve. Remember the missions that seemed impossible, yet were completed through bravery. Remember the pilots who made history, who defended freedom, and who reminded the world what it truly means to be an American. This was the most dangerous mission in aviation history, not because of the aircraft or the enemy, but because of the extraordinary courage it demanded and the extraordinary pride it inspired in a nation that refuses to yield to fear.